Hi, my name is Bill, and today I'm going to be showing you how to replace the tub bearing in your washer model. You might need to replace the tub bearing because your washer is leaving wet clothes at the end of the cycle, or it's making a loud screeching noise during the spin cycle. For this repair, you'll need a 1/4-inch nut driver, 5/16 nut driver, a T20 Torx bit, flathead screwdriver, channel locks, a pair of needle nose pliers, a putty knife, a razor blade, zip ties, a ratchet with an extension and 3/8 socket, 7/16 socket, 1/2-inch socket, and 3/4 socket, a hammer, spanner wrench with the adapter, a cord with a rope, and some pliers. Warning: before doing any repairs, please disconnect your power source. So this is our washer model. We've got a GE here, and keep in mind that our model might be a little bit different than yours, but the same techniques should still apply. Alright, now you're going to want to make sure that your water is turned off. So the first thing we're going to do is turn our washer around so we can get to the hoses. So what we're going to do is remove our hose with the channel locks. And just keep in mind that there might be some water in the hose still. Alright, so we're going to disconnect our drain hose. Keep in mind there might be some water still in the line, so keep a bucket or a towel handy, just in case. And now we're going to turn the washer around. The next thing we're going to do is disconnect this panel here. So we're going to take out all the different nuts with our 1/4-inch nut driver. Move this to the right and then lift it up, which will expose the wires, and we'll disconnect all the wires. Keep in mind you might want to take a picture of this as well, just so you remember where all the wires are. Take all the rest of these wires out. And finally, we're going to disconnect our air hose. Once that's disconnected, we can set this panel off to the side. So with the putty knife, push the metal tabs that hold the front of the washer on. Pop that off, and we can just set this door to the side now. And now we'll take our 1/4-inch nut driver, and we're going to remove the screws that hold the top of this on. Now remove the top by pulling forward and just lifting off. Keep in mind there's still going to be this wire attached here, so if you want you can remove that just so it doesn't get tangled or caught on anything. And what we're going to do is we're going to push up on this tab here, and we'll just set that to the side. And now we'll set the top part off to the side. Now with our 1/4-inch nut driver again, we're going to take the remainder of this part off. So we're going to undo a few more nuts, a few more screws. Keep in mind the edges on this are going to be sharp. That'll pull forward and you can just pull it right off. Alright, and now that we've removed that, we can just set this whole piece to the side, let it hang off carefully so that none of the wires get cut or broken. The next thing I'm going to do is remove the agitator. Now, if your dryer's agitator is a little looser, you might be able to stick your fingers underneath and pull it up and pop it off. This one's a little bit tight, so what I'm going to do is I've got an old cord off of another appliance, but you can use any kind of cord or rope. Pull up on the agitator a little bit so you can fit it underneath. Shimmy it all the way to the middle. And once you've got it there, give it a nice hard tug. Be careful not to hit yourself in the face. And if that doesn't work, you can also soak it in hot water which will warm up the plastic and make it a little bit easier. And then just set that off to the side. So now we've got the agitator off. I'm going to take this bolt off here with our 7/16 socket. And we're going to remove the cup. And now we're going to take our spanner wrench and a hammer, and we're just going to tap that a couple times. Unscrew that the rest of the way. And we can put that off to the side. Now we're going to undo the rest of the bolts that are holding the tub to the frame. And with that, we are going to need our 5/16 nut driver. Just pull off these rubber pieces like so. Now we're going to go down to the motor, and we're going to unplug our motor, and we're going to undo the little clips that are holding it. You can use a pair of needle nose pliers and squeeze those and pull them out. Now that those are undone, take our 1/4 inch socket, undo the grounding wire, and now that we've got our cords out of the way, I'm just going to put this back in here. Now I'm going to take a pair of pliers, I'm going to squeeze down on this piece of metal here, and I'm going to remove this tube. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to unhook our air hose from the tub, pull that off, and then we're just gonna take this tube out from here so that it's hanging freely, and we can take this off and set it to the side. Now what you're going to want to do is unhook all the tabs, and we can pull this top off and we can set that to the side. We can also pull the inner part of the tub out. Keep in mind this is heavy, and we'll set this out of our way too. So now that we've got that off, take a screwdriver, twist it a bit just to loosen this piece, and pull it straight out. And I'll just remove the washer that's on here. Alright, so next we're going to lift up on the tub so that these come out a bit. Just push down on it with a hammer, and that comes right out. We're going to do that for all 4 sides. Okay, now that we have everything unhooked, we can pull our tub right out. Keep in mind this is going to be a bit heavy because it's got the motor attached to the bottom still. Now what we're going to want to do is flip this upside down. Next thing I'm going to do is cut the zip tie holding the drain tube together. Using my 1/2 inch socket, I'm now going to remove all the bolts holding the legs on here. Alright, next thing we're going to do is just remove the screws out of here. Alright, and we've got one more underneath. So now, we're going to remove the belt. To do that, just going to pull up on it a little bit, spin it, and it'll come off. Just like that. So we're going to take our hammer, we're going to kind of wedge it in here so that this doesn't go anywhere. And we're going to take our 3/4 inch socket, and this is going to take a little bit of force. Now that I've got that loosened, just pull that straight off. Pull this off. Alright, so now the last thing we're going to do before we take this all off, take out these wires. So we're going to take our needle nose pliers, this plastic piece here, and pull the wires down. There we go. We can pull our drive shaft straight out. Now we've got a washer here. We can take that out. Now we're going to take our T20 Torx wrench, and we've got a screw here that we're going to undo. And as you can see here, this is broken off. Can't really get it off any other way because it's stuck in there. So what we're going to have to do is flip this up. We're going to take our screwdriver, put it on the edge of the lip of this, and we're just going to knock it out. Alright, now grab your OEM replacement tub bearing. If you don't have one already, you can find one on our online store. And we're going to place that back in where the other one was, making sure to line up the holes so that you can get that screw back in. And we're going to push that down nice and tight, just like that. And now we're going to screw this back in. And now we're going to put our washer back on top of that. And we're going to place our shaft right back into this hole. And we're going to get our motor assembly, keeping in mind the direction that the motor was facing when we took it off originally. Just like that. Spin the shaft so that the holes all line up. And now we can start putting it all back together. First, I'll plug this back in. So this gets plugged in right back in here. Just like that. Clip this back in up here. Just like that. Now we'll put in all of our screws back in the top of here. And we'll use our 3/8 socket to tighten them up. So we're going to get these other screws in again. We're going to use our 3/8 socket to tighten those all up. Now we'll secure the legs back on, and using our 1/2 inch socket, Alright, now we'll grab the belt wheel, we'll put that back on, and you'll know it's on the right way when you've got the shaft spinning. If you put it on the wrong way, it doesn't spin anything. Now we're going to put this nut back on to hold it in place, and again we're going to use our hammer to wedge it so it doesn't move anywhere. And we're going to use our 3/4 socket to tighten it nice and tight. We're going to put the belt back on, just like this. And we're going to spin it a bit, which will help it get back on track. Alright, and just spin it a couple times. Make sure it's seated on there nice and tight. Just put that back in, just like that. And now we're going to re-secure the tube with our zip ties. My zip tie isn't quite big enough to make it, so I'll use a second one. We'll tie these together, just like this. And tighten that down. Now we can flip this back over. And now we can slide it back into our washer frame. And we're going to place this back on these little rods. We're going to do that for all four sides. Make sure they snap back in. Now I'm going to grab this air hose and I'm going to reattach this right here and tie it on just like that. And I want to plug that back into our tub just like that. Next I'm going to get our drain hose plugged back in just like this. Make sure it's nice and tight on there. And I'm going to get my pliers, and we're going to make sure that this is nice and tight on here. Alright, and there we go. Now we can reinsert our tub, just like that. Put this plastic cover back on top as well. Put our washer back on here, just like that. Feed it all the way down. Push this on down all the way, just like that. Just take note that our nut has the direction for loosening going that way. So this is going to be one of those things that you spin on counterclockwise in order to tighten it. We're going to get our adapter and our hammer again. And now we're just going to tighten this up nice and tight. Alright, now we can set this back on top of here. And we're going to screw this back in top of here. We're going to use our 7/16 socket wrench to get this back in there nice and tight. Just like that. And now we can drop our agitator back in. Push that down. There we go. That's nice and tight. Now we're going to put our shock absorbers back on to the little plastic tabs here. And using our 5/16 nut driver, we can screw them all back in. Alright, now we can get these two panels, set them back on top. So we'll make sure that this is all lined up with our water inlet valve. Put it on there. Line up the holes. And using our 1/4" nut driver again, screw these down. Screw this back into place here. Alright, now we're going to get the top piece. Set that on here for just a second while we put back our sensor. Feed this right up here through this and lock it back down into place. Secure this right into here. So we're going to set this down on here just like that. Push it back and lock it into place. Use the little screws with our 1/4" nut driver again, and we're going to screw this back into place. And just like that. Now we can replace the front panel. Just slide these little slots onto the tabs, right on the bottom there, and push it in. Now when we're going to attach it, plug everything back where it was originally. And like I said earlier, for your own reference, you can take a picture with your phone just to make sure that you've got everything where it should be. And plug this back in here, just like that. Down here. All right, we'll plug the air hose back in. And we can snap this back into place. There we go. And now you can reattach the hoses to the washer. And again, use the channel locks to make sure that you have a tight connection so that the hose will not leak. Once your hoses are connected, you can turn your washer back around. And now you can turn your water back on, and your repair is complete. Finally, don't forget to plug in your appliance. If you need to replace any parts for your appliances, you can find an OEM replacement part on our website, PCApplianceRepair.com. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to like, comment, and share our video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us make more videos just like these for you to watch for free.